Hey guys, it's Lucky Star, and I'm going to be talking about the channel and why recently some of the content has been going up. So, I've been having a lot of deadlines previously at uni, and so I've been more focused on those. Now that I've finished university, that should be becoming a more regular thing, as well as some family stuff coming up, birthdays and important family things that I can't really go into. But yeah, that's sort of been the main reason that there's not been any videos, and therefore now that I can get back into making more videos, it should be a lot better, because especially this was being redone, new room, painting, lines which you can't see because it's literally just bright as hell out there, TV going up, and so this room couldn't be recorded in. Couldn't record using my camera outside because it's being used by other people. Now I should be getting back into things, maybe doing a small vlog, but I've been going alright. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the recent stuff going on with things like the anime lists for this summer, some of the mangas that are somewhat coming to an end, and sort of the stuff I'm reading at the moment. So let's start with the stuff that's coming to an end. From how we've been building up to it, it seems that Bleach is coming to an end, and following Naruto's ending previously, like last year, sort of early this year, we've really not had much to go on with the big three that have lasted this long, and so Bleach is coming to an end. From how the manga's going, Toriko's ending, but we haven't seen Komatsu use his gourmet demon, or Toriko used the third of his sort of demons that he's got in him. We see a glimpse of it when he has that fish dish that he puts on his menu, Memory of the Distant Sea or whatever. And yeah, it's kind of reminiscent to the guy who drinks poison. Yeah, looks like his demon. But yeah, we get to see the 8 Kings and Neo and God as a ingredient in its full state. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this ends. Just at the end of this, surely can have Toriko getting married, where he has his entire full course. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting, I suppose. Recently, they've taken to announcing that we're going to be having Blue Exorcist come back in 2017. I enjoy Blue Exorcist and I've begun reading it again, but how are they going to do this series? Is it going to be similar to Fullmetal Alchemist, where by the end it completely diverged because there wasn't enough? So will the new form of Blue Exorcist then be more like Brotherhood in that respect, so that we get a full sort of artist's style representation of how it should have gone? Because there is some stuff in there that's really good, and I don't understand why it was left out, but that's down to those people who make that decision. Shigeki no Soma has been recently coming back, and I've been reading that a lot. It's good. It's really good. If you haven't checked it out, just go on Crunchyroll, have a look at it. If you haven't got Crunchyroll, just sign up for a free premium for 30 days. It's so good. And where we are, we're still in the autumn selections, or what have you, it's called something similar. So getting a lot of intense cooking battles, which is a great way to start a second season. Been reading a lot of One Piece as well. One Piece is getting to a really good point right now. We might actually see Big Mom versus Luffy, which is going to be incredible. Because we have previously seen that Fishman, he challenged her. Now she's taking Sanji. We're just not going to stand for that. So we're going to see Luffy take on a Yonko. And so that's going to be interesting with his Conqueror Hake and all the stuff leading up to his poneglyphs being so important. I think that might bring out a bit more of the story aspect rather than this sort of narrative that it's been quite recently, but Oda does really well with how he writes. His writing is like so good. That's why he said, look, we're going to go for another 15 years. We can't go for 15 years without Sanji. Let's be realistic here, people. And finding out what the D means and how that translates into the backstory of Luffy and Dragon and Garp and Teach and all these people that carry that title. Because we now know Sanji's titled as a violence man, one of the royal members of an assassin family. Anyone take a look? Speaking of, hiatus. Again, what? If you can't do weekly, go to monthly. Surely, if you ask your editor, like, look, I'm finding it difficult to put it out weekly, can we go monthly with this? And I'm pretty sure an editor will go, Well, talk to the people in charge, but I don't think so. But at least you put yourself in a better position than going away for 6 or 7, what felt like years, but it's probably 2. And then coming back with a completely different art style for a couple months and then disappearing again. If stuff's getting too difficult, surely you'd do that than in and out. Not the joke, I know that some American people like in and out. I've never been. It's one of the things I want to try when I go over there. There's an In-N-Out and a Steak and Shake. It's supposed to be amazing from what I heard. No, and recently I've started getting into like D&D. Watching Critical Role, High Rollers, Dice Hammer Action, and writing my own campaign. How long has it been since I did my campaign? Let me have a look. It's been like 10 weeks since I did my campaign start. But we're all really busy, so it can't be a continuous thing. So I've created the world of cerulean oceans and talked about the travel time is half scale, so if something's 500 km or miles or whatever, it'll be 250 and regular sort of walk. Let me just check something. But yeah, it's been interesting making characters that will serve as important NPCs and doing things like writing out different guilds and quests that they have to go on to gain favour, that sort of thing. The world is called Cerulus. It's basically Earth, but take away the amount of countries and make it a lot more ancient looking forests with big trees and the sort of D&D 5e sort of animals, so hippogriffs and griffins themselves, constructs, that sort of thing. But the Pantheon that comprises alignments for clerics, warlocks and the like, that has been taken from the base of Christianity and worked on from there. So rather than being a bunch of gods, it's just one. It's just monotheistic, and then you've got angels that then provide the go-between. So the creator, God, however the translation for that would be in each of the races. Each one believes in this monotheistic, and so they can go from people such as Gabriel, Michael, and Raphael, which are prominent figures within the Bible and what we've seen in previous texts before the Bible, such as the Torah, I believe it is, for the Jewish people. It talks about these things, and so they deal with specific missions that they are to be put down for people. And so if you're supposed to go out and lead a bunch of people in a rebellion to take down this tyrannical ruler, your faith will be able to on more of the Michael side of it, rather than the Gabriel, which is communication and that sort of thing. And you've got, so they're known as the Holy Ones, and that translation varies depending on what race they are, but generally that's what they're called. Then you've got Dark Ones, which are basically the enemy Rose tried to take over. God then threw him into a pit. This pit broke through many planes. So, like this. At the very bottom of this pit is where he lays chained. The hole that he made, basically many demons and apparitions and stuff came through, but there were many other supporters that fell down with him, and they became masters of all these layers. So you got people like Cthulhu, Beelzebub, Leviathan, these sort of dark, menacing beings that are referenced. It's generally a medieval sort of era, just before the cusp of guns. Like, guns just starting to be invented and not quite there, so you got pistols and a rifle, that sort of stuff, musket balls, and what they're using, ammo. But I have said to the PCs that, look, if you want to be a half tiefling, half orc, I could work around that and build a story from that if that's what you wanted. Interracial marriage isn't a sort of obscure thing. Like, half elves are quite commonplace, and so are half orcs. But yeah, it's literally, the map is exactly the same as Earth, except less countries. It's just segmented into parts because of the map I got. So, where you would have Russia, that's a kingdom, it's the largest kingdom, and it is called Umberhold. And so the PCs started on the way through Umberhold, made their way down on a ship. They left from sort of China, Korea sort of Bay Area, and went down. But as they were passing by the Indonesian islands, a huge hurricane blew through, crashing the ship in what I've called the archipelago, and they helped save a bunch of people. They defeated some bandits that were camping out there and looting. They got a bag of holding, a portable hoe, some boots of haste, speed, depends on translation you want to use, The bag of holding had like a lot of gold, a month's worth of food, and all that sort of stuff. And so I'm gearing them up basically to make their way through all of this. So their journey was from Umberhold all the way down to Oakenwick, which is Australia basically. But Oakenwick is one of the more older looking kingdoms with a lot more masonry work and smithing. Whereas places like the Dragonborn city of Aegis are more based around the arcane. So the smithing happens, but it's more based around using magic to do this and magic to do that. So yeah, there's a lot of cities and lots of things. I don't want to go into all of that. It's the PC's Watcher. There's no clockwork based stuff. But enchantments are a thing. Language, which is interesting point. Language is something that PCs can study given their time. They cost daily needs for a day, and time is dependent on whether it's a base language such as Dwarven, Common, Elvish. Draconic is more of an exotic language, so it'd take a bit longer to learn that. Be more of the ones that you'd specialise in when you're making the character. So that would be a bit more expensive to learn. The exotic ones take a lot more time and effort. Whereas the ones that are more commonly used, such as Common, Dwarven, Elvish, you could probably pick those up quite quickly because there'll be a lot more on it. And then you've got Thieves Guild, which I named the Midnight Court, which is interesting. And they're also working quite closely with the Assassins League, which is the assassins-based guilds, if you want, rather than be Thieves are the general, and the Assassins is a splinter group that works in tandem because the leaders are brothers. But these are international organisations with branches all over the world. But I'm not going to mention where the headquarters are, because that'd be interesting to find out. Yeah, so I've thought of a nice character called Yalort Frostrand. He's my OP mage. Like, once the PC take count him, they won't go back to any other mage. Like, he's so good. He's a level 22 wizard with the boon of invincibility, meaning that aging effects don't work on him. He cannot get old and die from age. And the boon of skill proficiency means he's skilled in everything. He also has his own plane of existence, which he's carved out through many years of working with mankind's magnificent mansion, teleportation circle, plane shifts. He's worked out how magic works and he's managed to make himself a little permanent plane, demi-plane. He also has access to that skill, but like, it doesn't last long enough. You can't store anything of mankind. You can't keep stuff for a long time. And, like, going on a 2-month journey, your demi-plane's got to be emptied and refilled every 30 days. It's quite a tedious thing. And if you get ambushed while you're emptying it or while you're filling it back up, it's just not useful. So he's like, look, I'm going to make this two-part. So, I know the video is quite long, so I'm going to make this a two-part video. So, BRB.